know it's been a hot second. It's so funny because I recorded a podcast episode about 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, and everything was so great. I'll insert a little clip of that episode and how ecstatic I was and how excited I was about life and everything. And I really was. I genuinely was. And that's what I've been doing. I've been meditating every day, which has been phenomenal. I feel so clear on everything. Everything was really growing great for me in that moment. But what's funny is the day after I recorded that episode, I hit a downfall. I started spiraling. It's fine because I learned from it, and I want to express what happened and why it happened and what I learned from it, because I was really going through it. I was feeling everything. I felt so many old emotions and so many old habits come up. So here's basically what happened, right? I was on a really high since October, I want to say. So for the last 2 months I've been on going up, and the down eventually came. Even though one day I was so in my head, I tried to counteract it by going on a run, moving my body, not doing what I used to do, which was stay in my head, stay in my thoughts, by staying on my phone and just keeping these thoughts on a loop in my head. I tried using tools that I learned from yoga. But one thing I learned is at the end of the day, you still need to feel those feelings. You can't avoid it. You have to go through the works. Even though I used my tools, the next day I still felt like shit because the problem was lying deeper. It was subconscious. It was on a fucking molecular level. And so the next day I still felt like shit because even though I was doing all those things, I just wanted to, I didn't want to stray away from my suffering. I didn't want to let it go. I was just pushing myself further and further, and I didn't really want to feel better. And so I resorted to some old stuff, felt like shit. I literally I was so down about myself. I was talking really bad about myself. It was almost like I was in a trance or something. On Friday I went to work, and just being around all my friends and that community and that love literally flipped some switch. And I recently got a tarot reading, and apart from the tarot reading, I have learned this about myself. I like to be alone, but the things that will pull me out of my funks, the things that will pull me out of these overthinking loops is community, is friends. I create best when I'm around community, when I'm around friends. I thrive in environments where there is community. When I spread myself too thin, aka putting my energy into so many different areas of interest, but I have to be wise about how I do it, and I'm still learning about how to do it without spreading myself too thin and putting my energy in too many places without burning myself out and creating that spiral. And after that, I found something on TikTok or Instagram, and it was about neuroplasticity. Your brain you literally don't stop developing until you're 20 something, right? I totally forgot about this. I'm only 20, turning 21 in literally less than half a year. I feel like I fucked up my development so much. But that doesn't mean you can't reverse it or improve it, right? Our minds are so powerful, and this is something that I've also been learning the last 2 years. When I first learned about spirituality, manifestation, all this, the number one thing that was always preached, and the number one thing I always heard was your thoughts create your reality, your mind is so powerful. And this wasn't a concept I could really grasp because I didn't understand how are our thoughts powerful? How is our mind so powerful? I need an explanation. I'm the type of person that needs to know how it works. I need to learn how it works, or else I won't fully understand it. And so last week, neuroplasticity, I looked it up, and then Joe Dispenza came up. And Joe Dispenza is a very popular, is he a doctor? I know he's an author. He's written so many wonderful books about the brain, about the mind. He's a very intelligent man. How to break the habit of being yourself. And I was like, okay, I'll bite. I bought the audiobook. I've been really into audiobooks. I've been listening a lot, every single day almost. And it's basically everything that I learned in the beginning of my spirituality journey when I was first learning about manifestation. But this time he explains it on a scientific level. He explains it on a quantum level. I'm just able to grasp it so much more. The way Joe Dispenza describes like literally changing your brain to break the habit of being yourself, aka break the habits that no longer serve you, that don't serve the person you want to be, the reality you want to live in. Like, he literally is like, listen, you can create your reality. You need to focus your awareness on these actions that you do every single day. You need to put your energy into these subconscious actions you do every day and consciously change them and become the person in this new reality you want to form. He's basically calling all of us out. He's saying like, hey, take accountability for what you're doing. Match how you think with how you feel, and combine that with persistent action of putting yourself into situations that align with the reality you want to live in. And that's how you break the habit of being yourself, which is just some things that he's mentioned within like the first 2 chapters. It goes so much deeper than this, but this was something that really like aha moment, right? Like something so simple, but it makes so much sense. But it's like, how am I gonna change if I constantly do the same thing? And I feel like this book and somehow this experience that I had 2 weeks ago just put me down the path of finding this book by Joe Dispenza and kind of giving me that push that I needed to start like fucking taking action and taking accountability for myself and what I do. Like, no one's gonna come save you. No one's gonna like, right? I already know this. I've learned this lesson so many times, and I've got to say, even though that week was crap, I felt like crap, I'm so fucking happy that it happened. This is part of breaking the habit of being myself. Something that I do is I'm inconsistent. I feel like a lot of people just are inconsistent in our society today. But I struggle a lot with consistency. But if there's something that I've proven to myself this last year, it's that I have the ability to be consistent. For the last year, I've consistently worked out every single week, with the exception of maybe I take a break every month when it's that time of the month. So that's like the only time. But that's consistent still, you know? And I proved that's like the first thing I've ever done for that long, that consistently. And also my job. I've been there for about 8 or 9 months. That's the longest I've ever held a job, all right? I have this other job, the concierge job, but that hasn't been consistent. I've been on and off for the last 4 years. This is the longest I've ever held a fucking job, 8 to 9 months, because I usually get bored and I like say, okay, on to the next thing. I'm breaking the habit of being myself every single day, and it feels fucking amazing. And I want you to let you know that you can do it too. Like, we're gonna do it together, all right? Like, I'm keeping myself accountable. I'm keeping myself in check here. Like, reading this book has truly inspired me to just like every single day, no matter how hard it is, to keep my focus and attention on building myself into the person I want to be, to create the reality that I want. Because it is possible. We just have to do the work. And there are 2 things I can confidently say I've manifested in my life. And now I understand how I manifested it. I had a slight idea of how I did it at the time, manifesting my acceptance into NYU. I was thinking about that shit every single day. I was saying my gratitude every morning and night for like 3 weeks straight. I was like, I'm so grateful I got into NYU. I'm so grateful for being able to go to school to NYU, whatever, like acting as if it already happened. And I was also watching YouTube videos on like dorm tours, like day in the life of an NYU student, and like getting so excited every single day because like I fell in love with it. I fell in love with it, and I felt like I was gonna go. Like, I would go to the city and I would walk around like the NYU dorms, and I was like, oh my gosh, like that's gonna be me. I had this feeling, and subconsciously I was creating that on a quantum level as if I was already living it. And lo and behold, May came and I got my acceptance, and it was like, hey, congratulations, you got in. And I was like, no fucking way. And I fully believe I manifested because I was no like star student. All right, I got a 1230 on my SAT, which is low for NYU. I like didn't really take a lot of extracurriculars. I mean, I did sports, but that's it. I didn't take any clubs, nothing. I literally did nothing special. Like, I was your average white student. Why would they accept me? So I fully believe that I manifested my way, and my essay was shit. I read it like a year ago, and I was like, I actually submitted that to them. Like, why did they accept me? So that was pretty cool. And so recently I've kind of just not let anything be a limit in my mind. I've kind of been saying, like, recently the last year I've been like, okay, I'm gonna use this year to save up money so I can travel. And then I got like really discouraged because I am nowhere near my savings goal. But then I was like, I can still travel. I don't have to worry about the how. I just know that I want to travel. And if I focus on that enough, it'll come to me. Like, catching myself in those limiting states, that's what this book has changed for me. It's like, hey, you can do whatever you want. Just like break that habit of like whatever has stopped you in the past. And I'm like, holy shit. Once you open your mind up to the possibility of anything, you realize you're fucking unstoppable. I'm going to wrap up the episode here though, because I feel like I've put in my 2 cents. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Gaining Clarity. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, feel free to share it. That would mean a lot to me. I just feel like this was a really powerful episode. Like, even my energy in this whole episode was just like, whoosh. Have a beautiful ass day. Manifest those dreams, baby. Mwah. I love you. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye. That's a good omen right there. Yeehaw.